You know, I'm not the only one out there with a great book out because Yeonmi Park's book is eye opening. It's eye opening because she actually experienced communist hell. She knows what it's like to live through it. So there's a lot more than just the anti communist manifesto you should get your hands on. Go get the book while time remains. Yeonmi, your story is amazing. Before we get into all the details of it, why don't you describe a struggle session? What's a struggle session?
I guess you mean in North Korea or in America?
You know what? Let's stick with the North Korean version for now.
Right. So it's in North Korea, the struggle session actually named as a self-criticism session. So every week, if you are children, you have to go to school with your classmates, have to go through your week, and you have to repent your sin. So basically, for example, like my dear leader told me that I need to become a better revolutionary, but compared to his words, I was not a good revolutionary this week. But at the end of this self-criticism session, the one thing that North Koreans must do is like criticizing somebody else. You cannot skip that part. So entire week, it forces us, all of us, to focusing on what other people are doing wrong. Almost like if you see something, say something. That's like in America right now is happening, where in North Korea, children are forced to criticize their classmates. And that's how they plant the seed of distrust between people. And people cannot trust each other.
Ah, that's terrible. You know, I want to nail something that you just brought up. As a revolutionary, we have to do this as revolutionaries. Explain that mindset since the Kim dynasty rules with an iron fist. We're now on generation number 3 of those scumbags running the country. What are you a revolutionary against when the revolution has been won?
That's a government state propaganda put us in this state of alarm, the state of almost it's a mental war. There's no physical war is happening, but dictators make us to believe that somehow the war is imminent. The enemies are here about to attack us. And I think it happens in America right now too, that they are keep saying the world is ending, the climate change is imminent, that the humanity is ending soon. It's a constant state of fear, constant state of the need of government protection because there's just so much threat is happening. And so they keep telling us that you are the revolutionaries, that we have to fight against our enemy. The American ambassadors any minute trying to attack us, that enemies are even in the air that we breathe in. That's how they keep us in the state of this alarm state, that people cannot put their guards in, and that we constantly have to look to government to protect us.
Do the people genuinely believe it? You know what I mean? Do they believe they're revolutionaries? Do they believe they're under attack? Do they believe their government is taking care of them? Or do they just have to say it because they understand the consequences if they don't?
So to Northern people is very unique because we are literally the most isolated nation in the world. And we don't even know what the alternative life can look like. Right? In North Korea, we don't have any comparison what life can be different. My case, I genuinely believed everything that regime said. I truly believe that dictators were gods. They could read my mind, and I was even afraid to think. The another thing is that in North Korea, if you say the one wrong word, it's not only going to kill yourself, it's going to kill up to 3 generations of your family's life. That's why maybe even if you disagree, there's no way you can disagree with the state governments.
Okay, that's a horrible place to be. How did you get from that state into the United States of America speaking about freedom all the time? What is your story?
So when I was 13 years old, it was 2007. We could not find any food in the country. We were literally starving and about to die. And the only option for us left to do was trying to escape from North Korea. I crossed the frozen Yalu River into China with my mother at 13. And once I got to China, I was sold as a sex slave, separate from my mother. 2 years of slavery in China, I was rescued by Christian missionaries coming from South Korea. And they told us that we had to walk across the frozen Gobi Desert into Mongolia from China. And I was luckily made it to Mongolia, and from Mongolia, I was sent to South Korea. And I came to America 8 years ago and became a citizen last year.
You walked across the Gobi Desert at 15 years old?
Yeah.
Good grief. Okay, give us some insight as to how the North Korean government treats its people. How are the people treated?
Well, in North Korea, simply there's no concept of human rights. We don't even know the word. And the tricky thing about not knowing the word is that if you don't know the word, that means you don't understand the concept. So there is no such a thing how humans should be treated. Inside the country, the regime uses starvation as a tool to control the people. People get tortured, beaten, and rape is not even a word. Women get raped daily in the military, in the workplace, and it's literally a living hell.
Good grief. Now, I mentioned something earlier in the show about struggle sessions, and you said something that shocked me a little bit. You said, in North Korea or here in America? What struggle sessions in America are you talking about?
So I live in New York City, and I used to live in Chicago. I went to the university in America. Americans hasn't gone that far to criticizing your classmates and your coworkers. Maybe they do, but so far they talk about their guilt and their privilege. So I mean, even in New York, there's some daycares, even like pre-K or kindergartens. They would like ask children, if your parents own their home, they step out, talking about privilege and make them feel guilty about their privilege. So it is kind of mimicking that struggle session that was happening in North Korea and China. And I think the extent is not as bad as North Korea, but definitely getting there in America.
Good grief. Her book is While Time Remains. As you can imagine, it is a fascinating story. Thank you so much, Yeonmi, and welcome to America. Even though you've been here for some time, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Are you tired of watching your beloved nation fall prey to the insidious grip of communism? The Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly is the ultimate guide to fighting back against this destructive force. Discover the shocking truth about communism infiltrating our education system, corporations, and even environmental movements. Unmask the true agenda behind groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and learn how to protect the United States from the most malicious enemy. With extensive documentation of past atrocities, you'll see the undeniable danger posed by this ideology. Arm yourself with knowledge and join the fight to preserve the American way of life. The Anti-Communist Manifesto, a new must-read book from Jesse Kelly. Get your copy today at jessekellybook.com or wherever books are sold.